Trusting in God, we have prayed together for Philip, and now we come to the last farewell. There is sadness in parting, but we take comfort in the hope that one day we shall see Philip again and enjoy his friendship. Although this congregation will disperse in sorrow, the mercy of God will gather us together again in the joy of his kingdom. Therefore, let us console one another in the faith of Jesus Christ. Saints of God, come to Philip's aid. Come to meet him, angels of the Lord. Receive Philip's soul and present him to God the Most High. May Christ, who called you, take you to himself. May angels lead you to Abraham's side.
Australian batsman Phil Hughes' funeral ceremony is underway in his hometown, Macksville. The CEO of Cricket Australia, James Sutherland, is addressing the gathering. Let's cross live.
Fans. Philip Hughes was an Australian cricket archetype. He took us all on his pilgrimage from his family's Macksville farm to cricket grounds all over the world, and now to the field of dreams. I suspect by now that he'll be up there, and having taken guard, he's already flaying his trademark cut shot backward a point. To the Hughes family and the entire community of Macksville, thank you for letting cricket into your lives. To Virginia, Greg, Jason and Megan, I'd like to leave you with this. Ed Smith once wrote that cricket is possessed of a rich, poetic heart. For the cricket community today, that heart is heavy with sorrow. Cricket's heart has been pierced by pain, but it will never stop beating. It will find its rhythm next week in Adelaide and beyond. And wherever cricketers gather, they will always hold Philip Hughes and his family close to that generous beating heart. Philip Hughes, forever unconquered on 63.
I invite us all to stand. Philip, may the angels lead you into paradise. May the martyrs come to welcome you and take you to the holy city, the new and eternal. In peace then, let our brother Philip Joel Hughes go to his place of rest.
But losing everything is like the sun.
follow there?
Yes, that's great. All set.
These are live pictures that we're getting you from Macksville, from Phil Hughes' funeral. His funeral ceremony is now over and his body being taken to his resting place. We have with us former cricketer Nikhil Chopra in our studios this morning. Nikhil, we saw an extremely emotional ceremony a short while back. Philip Hughes' family and his friends, including Michael Clarke, the Australian captain, paying tribute to Philip. And something that Michael Clarke said that actually made a lot of sense. He said that Philip left a mark on cricket that actually needs no embellishment. He'd been able to make a name for himself even at the age of 25.
Without a doubt. You know, the youngest cricketer, say me, to get hundreds in a test match in both the innings. You know, so it just goes to show that he had his entire career in front of him. And everybody is so, you know, emotional at this moment in time because he is a youngster who's played the game with a great amount of dignity. He's worked very hard. He was dropped from the Australian side. He's worked extremely hard to try and make a comeback, and you know, we all knew that he'd probably make a comeback with this India series, Team India touring down under, but it's just so very unfortunate. And you can see, you know, the entire Australian cricketing fraternity, not only from around the world, but every single Australian player there, just goes to show how much the entire cricketing fraternity loved Philip Hughes, because he was a live wire in that Australian dressing room, keeping smiles on everybody's faces, and we could see a very emotional Michael Clarke.
Absolutely, he was a live wire. He was somebody who was very friendly, a hero for his community, not just for the entire cricketing world. Let's go back to the top story. We're tracking Phil Hughes' last rites to be conducted today. His funeral has just gotten over. We're getting you live pictures from his hometown. Phil Hughes' funeral being attended by more than 5,000 people, including Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott and the who's who of the cricketing world. Those are pictures of the cavalcade that's just left the church after the ceremony. We saw emotional speeches by Phil Hughes' family and friends. His close friend, Australian captain Michael Clarke, said that Phil Hughes has left a mark on cricket that needs no embellishment, also saying that he's having trouble making his peace with Phil Hughes' death. He looks around expecting Phil Hughes to be by his side, waiting for him to crack a joke. People described him as a live wire who always had high spirits and always had a smile on his face, someone who was extremely driven and passionate about cricket. His family described him as a country boy at heart who loved the finer things in life that the city had to offer, and his career gave him the opportunity to travel around the world. Phil Hughes was literally living his dream, died in a tragic accident on the field last week. These are pictures of his funeral procession. People from across Australia gathering there in that small town of Macksville to bid their final adieu to Philip Hughes. Let's once again listen into that tribute that Australian captain Michael Clarke paid to Phil Hughes while addressing his funeral gathering.
I know it's crazy, but I expect any minute to take a call from him, or to see his face pop around the corner. Is this what we call the spirit? If so, then his spirit is still with me, and I hope it never leaves. I walked to the middle of the SCG on Thursday night. Those same blades of grass beneath my feet, where he and I and so many of his mates here today have built partnerships, taken chances, and lived out the dreams we painted in our heads as boys. The same stands where the crowds rose to their feet to cheer him on, and that same fence he sent the ball to time and time again. and it's now forever the place where he fell. I stood there at the wicket, I kneeled down and touched the grass. I swear he was with me, picking me up off my feet to check if I was okay, telling me we just needed to dig in and get through to tea, telling me off for that loose shot I played. The heart of a man who lived his life for this wonderful game we play, and whose soul enriched not just our sport, but all of our lives. His spirit has brought us closer together, something I know must be him at work, because it's so consistent with how he played and lived. He always wanted to bring people together, and he always wanted to celebrate his love for the game and its people. So rest in peace, my little brother. I'll see you out in the middle.
I couldn't have asked for a better little brother. From a very young age, you were destined to be our rock star. I still can't believe that I'm here saying my final goodbyes. Even though you are my little bro, you have taught me so much. My promises to you. Firstly, I'll take good care of Mum, Dad, Megan, and of course your beloved cows. And now it's time to say goodbye, bruh. Take care. I miss you. I'm so proud of you. Thank you again for all the memories. I love you now and forever.
These are live visuals that we're getting you of the funeral procession. Almost 5,000 people have gathered there to pay their last respects to Phil Hughes. Not just people from the local community, but people from all across Australia have gathered in this small town to bid a final adieu to the young batsman who died after a freak accident on the field. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott also attended the funeral ceremony. These are pictures of that cavalcade with Phil Hughes' body being taken from the church to the graveyard. We saw emotional tributes from Phil Hughes' friends and family, people describing him as a very enthusiastic young man who was extremely passionate about cricket. He was very happy to move from a small town to the big city. He also got his brother to live with him, but he's someone who wanted to come back to his roots. He wanted to retire as a cattle farmer. That's what some of the stories that his friends and family shared with us while addressing that gathering. The ceremony also displays how Australia as a country honors its sportspersons. Cricket, of course, is a national sport and people are extremely passionate about it. These are live pictures that we're getting you from Macksville. The funeral procession was also attended by children from the high school that Hughes attended as a child there in that small town. A ceremony that's being attended by the who's who of the cricketing world. We've been seeing luminaries from the world of cricket, past and present, including Mark Taylor, Sir Richard Hadley, Brian Lara, Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri, Shane Warne, Mike Hussey, Ricky Ponting, Brett Lee, Adam Gilchrist and Glenn McGrath at the ceremony. A huge loss for international cricket. An extremely emotional country bids farewell to a young cricketing hero who passed away at the age of 25, barely a few days ahead of his 26th birthday. Our focus this morning is on Australian batsman Phil Hughes' funeral ceremony. His funeral procession is underway down the main street of Macksville, with thousands of fans following the cavalcade. More than 5,000 people attended Hughes' funeral. The church was jam-packed and there were people who were camping outside the church. They had come to pay their last respects to the Australian cricket player. In fact, Prime Minister Tony Abbott also attended the ceremony along with the who's who from the world of cricket. Prime Minister Tony Abbott and opposition leader Bill Shorten were spotted at the funeral. There were some emotional speeches being made during the funeral with Philip Hughes' family and friends as they address the crowd. Let's once again listen into some of those speeches.
We are here today celebrating the life of an amazing son, brother, friend, colleague and idol to many individuals far and wide. As you all know, I'm Philip's little sister. I'm standing before you today to show my love and appreciation for the big brother that I'll never forget. Each individual within this room have different memories that involve Philip, and that's what we can take from this. He had an impact on so many lives, and it shows someone that always took care of himself, still had time to worry about others. Philip, I am so honoured to call you my brother, my best friend and my hero. The memories we share will always be the link that keeps us together, even though you physically can't hug your little sister in the times of need. I know that wherever you are within this world, you'll be looking down upon all of your loved ones to shed light whenever times get tough. Your smile, the twinkle in your eyes, your witty charm and the humour you provided will never fade. I want to thank you for being the most amazing brother I could ask for. They always say you cannot choose your family, but I wouldn't want mine any other way. Your presence will never leave the people that love and adore you. However, I know that I'll have you by my side every step of the way. I promise you, Phil, that I will continue to live life each and every day the way you did. From morning to night, your beautiful smile always came out, even if your life wasn't going to plan. You never took anything for granted and always knew how lucky and blessed you were from everything that came your way. I am so proud, along with Mum, Dad and Jason, with what you have accomplished within your short period of time you were here with us. I will always remember and admire that you never changed or become somebody different while your life and career was progressing before your eyes. I'm sorry you cannot be here with us any longer, but I promise that all the dreams and thoughts we had about the future, I will continue in your honour. You always protected me and stood up for me when need be. I honestly couldn't imagine having all our memories with someone else. There won't be a day that goes by that I won't think of you. I promise I will talk to you every day and keep you company up there. You certainly have changed the way I look and appreciate life. I promise I will never take anything for granted from this day forward and take any opportunity that comes my way. I know now it's time to say goodbye, but over the last few days I have realised goodbye isn't forever. Until next time, I love you, big brother.
This is the live pictures that we're getting you of Phil Hughes' funeral procession making its way down the streets of Macksville. Thousands of people participating in the procession. More than 5,000 people, in fact, attended Phil Hughes' funeral, including Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott and other political leaders. The who's who of the cricketing world also gathered there in that church in Macksville to pay their last respects. Hughes will be cremated at a private ceremony.